Informational Interviews, brought to you by Mohr Career Services at the Lundquist College of Business. There are two sides to a career search. The reactive side, where we check job boards and react to positions we see there, and the proactive side, where we drive our search by researching companies where we might want to work, networking with people there, and having informational interviews or conversations with those professionals to learn more about what it is like to work in such a job for that company and in that industry. We recommend spending 80% of your time in the proactive side. That's right, I said 80%. And that includes networking, research, and doing informational interviews. We give it more time because it tends to take more time, but it also tends to pay better dividends. So what is an informational interview? It's a conversation with a professional who has a job you're curious about or works for a company or industry you'd like to learn more about. How can you set one up? Ask a connection to introduce you to a contact. Reach out on LinkedIn and ask for a brief conversation. Who should you ask for an informational interview? It's easiest if you ask people who you already know, who are connected to a company or industry that you're curious about, or you can ask U of O alums who work places you're curious about. Remember, ducks like to meet ducks. And what's the point of an informational interview? The point is to learn about a company, a job, or an industry. The point is not to ask for a job, because people like to be asked for things that they can provide. Not everyone has a job or internship to give, but everyone has information. And you can learn a lot from hearing someone's story about how they got started. Let's take a look at some useful definitions. So we have networking, which is creating mutually beneficial professional relationships that last over time. So it benefits both people. Then we have the informational interview, which is having a conversation with a professional to build your knowledge of a job function, company, industry, or some aspect of professional life. To prepare for an informational interview, you'll want to spend a little bit of time so that you can make good use of the time that you have in the interview, as well as make a good impression. We recommend starting with research. Research the company's website, do a Google search, look for them on LinkedIn. You can also research your contact on LinkedIn and learn more about their background. This can be helpful because it's great to identify anything you might have in common with your contact. The more things you have in common with someone, the easier it is to start a conversation. Then you'll want to develop some questions to ask. You could mix it up between broad questions about general trends in the industry, or you could ask more specific questions about that person's specific career path, their day-to-day job, etc. You can help prepare the way by connecting on LinkedIn before the meeting. When you're conducting an informational interview, start by introducing yourself and be sure to give your contact a chance to do the same. Thank your contact for taking the time to speak with you and begin to ask your questions. Be sure to give your contact a chance to tell their story. Note that you might not have time to ask all of your questions, and that's okay. It is more important to have a conversation with give and take and build some rapport and learn about your contact's journey. Ask follow-up questions on anything you'd like to know more about, and end with another thank you for taking the time, because it's very important that they did make some time for you in their day. Ask if there's someone else you should speak with as you continue to learn about the field. And ask how your contact would like to stay in touch via email, LinkedIn, etc. Remember, you asked for a set amount of time, so be sure you don't overstay your welcome. If the contact has extra time available, they can tell you that, but don't assume. After the informational interview, you want to send a thank you email or a LinkedIn message right after talking to somebody. Thank them for the time, but also cite something specific that you learned or enjoyed talking about. Then work on keeping the connection going. It's not just a one conversation and done. You'll want to keep building on that. Be sure to track your activities on a spreadsheet, for example, talking about who you spoke with, when, and what you talked about, so that the next time you reach out, you can personalize your message and be sure to stay on track. Maintaining and growing a professional relationship takes time, but it doesn't have to be difficult. We suggest that you reach out periodically. You could do that over a shared interest. You can share a news item about their company or something else you think might interest them. Same thing with an interesting article. The point here is to make it a two-way street. Share information with them that you think might be interesting, just like they shared information with you. And periodically, you can send them an update on your progress. Also, this is really important. If someone gave you advice and you followed that advice, circle back and let them know how it turned out. People tend to be a lot more invested in you and your success when you followed their advice. For further career support, you can make an appointment with a career advisor through our website. Also, check our website for more resources and video content on a variety of career topics, including networking.